Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Alumni House. This is week, what are we in? Week 10 of the college football season. Already 10 weeks in and completed. I say it every week. It doesn't seem like we should be this far along in the season, but here we are. So we'll take a look at how the teams in the conferences we cover, how they did this week, this past weekend. Of course, if this is your first time joining us, we cover just the conferences in the South. There's 5 conferences that we cover that are pretty big. Of course, they're not all just southern regionally located anymore because of conference expansions, but you've got the SEC, the ACC, which the ACC is now coast to coast. So they should really change the Atlantic Coast Conference to the All Coast Conference. Of course, we cover the mid majors of the American Conference, Conference USA, and the Sun Belt. Or if you're a fan of a Sun Belt team, it's more affectionately called the Fun Belt. So we'll go ahead and jump right on into the weekend that was in college baseball. And while we do cover the series winners and stuff, and we'll talk about like the third game of the weekend series, if it was a winner take all type situation. We won't talk about like who won every game and the scores and stuff like that. It's just too much to cover to do something like that. But we'll go ahead and jump right into the American Conference here and start off with them. Of course, again, if this is your first time here, we always start off with the mid majors and we go in alphabetical order. So American is first, and we'll start off with Wichita State making a trip out to North Carolina to take on East Carolina. East Carolina wins the series 2-1. Wichita State did win the getaway game. After this weekend series, Wichita State is 24-17, 8-7 in conference. East Carolina is 24-16 and 1. Yes, they do have ties in baseball. It's usually on a getaway day when you have a game that's got a time limit. They usually have a hard rule or a hard set time that like a game can't go past a certain time for flight reasons and travel reasons, stuff like that. So when you see a tie in college baseball, that's what it's for. You don't get them much, but you will get them. So 24-16-1 for East Carolina, 9-6 in conference play. On to the next series. Charlotte made a trip out to UTSA, to San Antonio. San Antonio won the series, but again, they lost the getaway game 7-5. Charlotte is 19-20 on the season, 4-11 in conference play. UTSA is 27-13. They are 2-1 in conference play. That they're leading the conference. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what their lead was in the division, but they will remain at the top of the standings after this weekend for sure. Next up, we have in Charlotte and UTSA. By the way, they are former Conference USA opponents as well. They were in Conference USA same time as Southern Miss was. Southern Miss, of course, left in 22, as did UTSA, Charlotte. I believe Rice left at that same time. I think there was 5 or 7 teams that all left at the same time, and so these two have played against each other a lot over the years, and so two programs very familiar with each other. On to the next series, we had Tulane making a trip out to Boca Raton to take on Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic won the series 2-1 in a ever repeating cycle here. We have Tulane winning the getaway game 12-4. Tulane, they are 21-20, 7-8 in conference play. Florida Atlantic is 19-20, 6-9 in conference play. So neither one's having a great season right now. Next up, we have UAB making the trip down to Tampa. UAB wins the series 2-1, and a shock to nobody at this point, if you can guess. South Florida won the getaway game 1-0. UAB, they are 25-15 on the season, 10-5 in conference play. South Florida, they are 27-12 and 7-8 in conference play. And then our final series for the weekend in the American, Memphis, with a 3-game sweep of Rice, which is shocking because Rice has been playing very, very well up to this point. They were third place in the conference. I was really happy to see that because when I was a kid growing up, Rice was always one of those schools. They were always in the running for like regionals. They were always in the running for the conference championships and stuff like that for the conference they're playing in. Just very, very competitive baseball team. And then after their legendary coach Wayne Graham retired, they have been downhill since. I was happy they were finally seeing if they were on the upswing here, and then they get swept by Memphis, who is not having a good season at all. That's not a great look for Rice here. We'll swap over to Conference USA. Start out with Florida International making a trip to Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State with a 3-game sweep. They won the final game 7-2. Florida International, they are 13-26, 5-13 in conference play. Jacksonville State, they are 33-8, 16-2 in conference play. Jacksonville State, they're absolutely running away with the conference right now. I would not have pegged them to be that good at the beginning of the season. I would have thought Dallas Baptist or Missouri State at the beginning of the season. And while they're both having good seasons, they're not having the Jacksonville State type season. Next up, we have Sam Houston making the trip out to New Mexico State. Sam Houston with a 3-game sweep. Sam Houston won the getaway game 12-10. See, Sam Houston, they are 17-23, 7-11 in conference play. New Mexico State, they are 16-22, and also 7-11 in conference play. Next series up, Louisiana Tech made the trip out to Kennesaw State. Louisiana Tech won the series 2-1, They had to win the road match game. Also, could be called the getaway game. It's the third. If it's you'll hear me kind of go between getaway game or rubber match. If it's rubber match, the teams are tied. Getaway game, it's the series is already won. So this is a rubber match game here. Louisiana Tech wins it 4-3. They out hit Kennesaw by seven hits in the game, but only scored one more run, so they didn't take advantage of scoring opportunities as well as they should have. But they get the win nonetheless. Louisiana Tech, they are in their last season in Conference USA, they are 24-17, 11-7 in conference play. Kennesaw State, they are 17-19, 7-11 in conference play. And Louisiana Tech, they are coming to the Sun Belt next year. Texas State is going to the Pac-12. Louisiana Tech, they agreed to a $8 million buyout to get them out of the conference at the end of this calendar year, school year, or however they want to, business year, whatever they want to call it. When the new academic calendar rolls around in the fall, Louisiana Tech will be back in the Sun Belt. Let's see. Next up, we have Liberty. They made the trip to Dallas, Texas, to take on Dallas Baptist. Liberty won the series 2-1. They had to win a rubber match against DBU 9-8. Very even game here. Both teams had 11 hits. The difference looks like Dallas Baptist, they had an error where Liberty did not. Liberty is 28-11, 13-5 in conference play. Dallas Baptist, they are 23-17, 12-6 in conference play. Dallas Baptist is one of those teams that I always expect them to see. I always expect to see them in regionals, because they're just they are almost like a baseball specialist type school. Like that is what they are good in. Some schools are good, like we'll say like Duke, right? Like they're good in basketball. Dallas Baptist, they're good in baseball. That's what they're really known for, is their baseball. I don't even think they have a football program. I think they are maybe like just basketball, baseball, and other sports and stuff. But I don't even believe they have a football program. So they really pour a lot into the baseball program. So seeing them, kind of in the it would be the upper middle tier of the conference. They're 4 games out of first place, with only, I think, 4 weeks to go. There's still time to make that up, but the seasons get short. At this point, it's kind of Conference USA. They don't get an automatic bid from their regular. Of course, no team does. No conference gets an automatic bid in the regionals from winning the regular season tournament. Regular season championship. But a lot of teams, they don't have to worry about winning the conference tournament to get in. Whereas Conference USA, if you don't win the conference tournament, there's probably a chance you're not going to make it, unless you just have an amazing RPI and a great record. So Dallas Baptist, they really need to kind of pick it up here the last 4 weeks of the season, to really kind of secure themselves a chance for an at-large bid here, to continue on with their regional streak here. Next up, we have Delaware. They made the trip to Murfreesboro to take on Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee with the clean sweep. They won the getaway game 4-0, and that's even committing 2 errors. Let's see, Delaware, they are 11-29, 1-17 in conference play. Middle Tennessee, they are 21-19, 8-10 in conference play. I made the joke the other night that when you play Delaware, you can almost kind of pencil it in as automatic W, and it kind of feels that way. Unfortunately, I mean, I'd like to see more competitiveness throughout the conference, but it's a tough season for the Blue Hens for sure. And then finally, Western Kentucky made the trip to Springfield, Missouri, to take on Missouri State. Of course, Springfield, Missouri is famous for being the home of Bass Pro Shops. So Western Kentucky, let's see, Missouri State won the series 2-1. Western Kentucky won the getaway game 10-5. Western Kentucky, they have a 20-20 record, 7-11 in conference play. Missouri State is 26-11, 14-4 in conference play. Moving on to the Fun Belt. Let's see. We'll start out with Georgia Southern and Old Dominion. Old Dominion with a 3-game sweep. Won the final game 6-3. Not a clean game for either team. Georgia Southern had 3 errors. Old Dominion had 2. But like I said, Old Dominion with the 3-run win here. Georgia Southern, they are 12-27, 5-13 in conference play. Old Dominion at 20-19, 8-10 in conference play. Next series up, we'll stick with the Georgia teams here. Georgia State made the trip to number 7 Coastal Carolina. Coastal had the 2-1 series win. Georgia State with the getaway game victory 11-5. Georgia State, they're 20-21, 8-10 on this conference season. Coastal Carolina, they are 28-11, 15-3 conference record. Next up, Texas State made the trip to Hattiesburg to take on number 22 Southern Miss. Southern Miss with the series sweep. I was at the game on Saturday. They honored one of the legendary coaches. Actually, the coach at the park is named after Pete Taylor. They had a proclamation read out by the mayor of Hattiesburg, and they had these really neat bobbleheads that they gave out to the fans when you came in. It's really neat. It's of course, he was there back in the 50s up through the early 80s, and he has since passed away. But very cool thing to be there and see that. And you know, I love when they do things like that and honor the past of the program and stuff. Southern played really good ball this weekend. It looks like they may have found this is something they have struggled with all season, and that is a Sunday starter. Seems like they maybe have found something. They moved. I believe he's a sophomore. He was this is his first year at Southern. He was at Pearl River Community College last year. They brought him in. He started the season as a closer at Camden Clark, who, like I say, he's been the closer for the team this year. They moved him into the Sunday starter role. He played very, very well. Let's see if I can pull up his stats for. Maybe they'll have the stats for the game here. Let's see. Let's see. Southern Miss, they had 17 strikeouts in the game. Let's see. It doesn't have. Doesn't have their pitching, just the hitting, as if that's not all that players want to, our fans want to see. Goodness. Oh well. Oh, maybe it's here. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. He had 8 strikeouts. He pitched 4 and 4 and 2/3 innings. Played a great game. He had a little trouble with the getting that last out. He played really well, especially for his first start. I heard one of the players after the game being interviewed and said we may have found something here for a Sunday starter. And I even saw today where they're throwing out a new pitcher tomorrow for his first start in their midweek game. So I love they're trying everything they can to they started the season one of the hottest teams in the country. I mean, there was debate if they should be the number 1 ranked team in the country. When conference play has hit, they have struggled. But I mean, struggled comparatively to what they have been doing. The records for the two teams: Texas State is 25 and 15, 9 and 9 in conference play, and Southern Miss is 28 and 12, at 11 and 7 in conference play. And when they came into the weekend series on Friday night, Texas State was actually in second place in the conference, and Southern has flipped that now. They are now in second place, and Texas State, they are no longer in third place, because I see our next series has a team with a better record. So speaking of which, we'll go ahead and move on to Marshall making the trip to Mobile to take on South Alabama. South Alabama wins the series 2-1. Marshall, South Alabama had to win the rubber match here. They won it 4-1. Marshall is 18 and 20, 9 and 9 in conference play. South Alabama, they are 24 and 16, 10 and 8 in conference play. Next up, we have App State making the trip to Harrisonburg, Virginia, to take on James Madison. App State with the series sweep. They won the getaway game 14-10, 18 hits in the game for them, 13 for James Madison. Very offensive game here. Let's see. Appalachian State, they are 22 and 16, 10 and 8 in conference play. James Madison, they are 16 and 22, 6 and 12 in conference play. So now you have two teams tied for third place in conference. Next series up, Arkansas State made the trip to Monroe to take on UL Monroe. Arkansas State won the series 2-1. Word match game for Game 3. Arkansas State wins that one 4-1. Arkansas State is 24-15, 9-9 in conference play, and UL Monroe 21-19, and they are also 9-9 in conference play. And then our final series in the conference, Louisiana Lafayette made the trip out to Troy, Alabama, where you have to get lost to get there. Troy wins the series 2-1. They had to win the rubber match here. Another offensive game. They win it 15-11. Had 16 hits to 10. Louisiana Lafayette, they are 22-17, 7-11 on the season. Troy, they are 20-20. They are 10-8. So that is a third place team here. Third team tied for third place. So that sweep of Texas State by Southern, I mean that dropped them from second place to really like sixth place in the conference. Sixth place in the conference. Just off the top of my head here. So that was a tough series loss for Texas State there. Louisiana Lafayette, they were coming off, I believe it was last weekend. Let's see. Yeah, last weekend, Louisiana Lafayette won the series against Southern Miss. So they come off winning the series and to lose one. To a team that's not quite as good as Southern. That's tough break for Louisiana Lafayette here. Really make it tough for them to. I don't think they'll have, even if they go on a big win streak here, I don't think they'll have enough to come back and overtake Coastal for the conference. For a team that had a lot of promise to begin the season, at this point, if ULL wants to make the regionals, they may have to go into the conference tournament and win the whole thing to get in. So at this point, they're playing for seeding in the tournament, in which it's weird to say that with still 4 or 5 weeks of the season left. But kind of where they are at this point. They went from being ranked 25 in the country to kind of falling apart there. So they got a lot of work to do between now and the end of the season. All right, flipping over to the ACC. Matt and I were talking the other night about this first team, Georgia Tech. They were the number 1 team in the conference going into the weekend. They took on the number 2 team in the conference, North Carolina. This is a 2 versus 3 matchup. North Carolina won the series 2-1. Georgia Tech won the getaway game 5-2. Georgia Tech, they have a record of 32-7, 16-5 conference play. North Carolina, they are 33-7-1, and they are 15-6 in conference play. Let's see. Next series up, Pittsburgh made the trip out to Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech won the series 2-1. They won the rubber match on Sunday. Pittsburgh, they are. Oh, this is funny. So Virginia Tech won the game 6-5. They got out hit 12-9 in the game. Pittsburgh had 2 errors to 1. But what makes this is funny, the records for these teams. Oh, I misread it. Never mind. So Pittsburgh, they're 24-14. I thought it was 24-24, which wouldn't make sense. But 24-14, they're 7-11 in conference play. Virginia Tech is 19-19 and 9-12 conference play, and that's what made me kind of go, what? That's funny, because I thought it was 24-24 and 19-19. So reading error on my part here. But Virginia Tech with the series win. Next series up, North Carolina State made the short trip over to Winston-Salem to take on Wake Forest. Wake Forest with the series win 2-1. NC State had to win the getaway game. They won it 6-5. NC State, they are 26-14, 9-9, whereas Wake Forest, they are 27-14, 11-10 in conference play. Let's see, next series up, Notre Dame made the trip out to Florida State. Florida State with the sweep won the getaway game 6-4. Notre Dame, they are 17-18, 7-14 in conference play. Florida State, they are 28-11, 12-6 in conference play. Let's see, Miami made the trip out to Palo Alto to take on Stanford. Miami won the series 2-1. Stanford won the getaway game 14-6. Miami, they are 29-11, 10-8 in conference play. Stanford, they are 17-19, 7-11 in conference play. Louisville made the trip out to Berkeley to take on Cal. Cal in the series 2-1. Good on you, Cal. Now this is weird seeing Louisville struggle like this in baseball, because they're one of those teams. They're always in the regional, super regionals. A lot of trips to Omaha. But they are 22-18, 7-11 in conference play. They did win the getaway game 8-5. Cal, they are 20-18, 6-12 in conference play. I gotta go back a day here because not all the teams played on Sunday. Let's see. We had Clemson made a trip out to number 9 Virginia. This was on Saturday. This was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series here. Virginia won the series 2-1. Won the rubber match 5-4. Clemson, another team that started the season in the top 25. I think they were in the top 5 to begin the season. They have completely fallen out. They are 25-16, 6-12 in conference play. Virginia, they are 28-13, 12-9 in conference play. Let's see. Okay. Boston College, they swept Duke. Duke went to Boston College, Chestnut Hill. Boston College with the series sweep. They played a doubleheader on Saturday. Boston College won the final game 14-6. And Duke was another team. If they were ranked earlier in the season, they're now unranked. Boston College is ranked at number 24. Let's see, Duke, they're 22-20, 8-13 on the season. Boston College is 31-12, 14-7 on the season. All right, and last up, we will swap over to the SEC. All right. Ole Miss, number 25, Ole Miss made the trip up to Knoxville. Ole Miss won the series 2-1. Tennessee won the getaway game. They won it 13-5. Ole Miss is 29-12, 10-8 conference record. Tennessee is 26-14, 8-10 conference record. Let's see. Vanderbilt made the trip out to Lexington to take on Kentucky. Vanderbilt won the series 2-1. They had to win the rubber match game. They won it 13-6. Let's see. Vanderbilt there 24-17, 9-9 conference record. Kentucky 26-12, 8-10 conference record. Number 17 Mississippi State. They made a trip out to Columbia, South Carolina, to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. State with a series sweep, won the final game 4-3. Let's see. Mississippi State they're 30-10, 10-8 conference play. South Carolina 19-12, 5-13 in conference play. See, number 10 Texas A&M. They made a road trip to Baton Rouge with a series sweep. They won the final game 5-2. LSU, they have just completely fallen apart. That at this point in the season, I saw an article where Jay Johnson has said he made some bad decisions in instructing this team. It kind of shows. It's not a pretty picture in Baton Rouge this season. From number 2 to unranked, and it looks like a chance of even missing the SEC tournament. I say that I believe I don't steer y'all wrong here. Yeah, so it's 12 teams of the 14 that have the opportunity to make the tournament. So there's a good chance that LSU will miss the baseball tournament, the SEC baseball tournament this year, which is unheard of in Baton Rouge. But that will stop their streak of regionals made. Let's see. A&M, they are 31-7, 12-5, the conference record. LSU, they are 23-18, 6-12, conference record. Let's see. Next up, we have number 11, Alabama, making the trip out to number 4, Texas. Texas won the series. 2-1. Alabama won the final game 2-1. Alabama, they are 28-13, 9-9 in conference play. Texas, they are 30-8, 11-6 in conference play. Let's see, Missouri made the trip out to number 14, Oklahoma. Oklahoma with a series sweep. Final game 8-4 win for Oklahoma. Missouri is 20-23. And 15 in conference play. Oklahoma, they are 27-12, 10-8 in conference play. Let's see, we had to have one series finish on Saturday. Yeah, Auburn made the trip to Gainesville. They played a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Auburn won the series 2-1. Won the rubber match 8-5. Auburn is 27-12, 10-8 conference play. Florida is 28-13. They are also 10-8 in conference play. And that is all of the series from last week. I'm going to pull up the conference standings here in just a second. Y'all give me just a second. I keep hearing noise in the house. I got to check it out real quick. right, sorry about that. Not sure what I was hearing. You're a little freaky when you're at the house by yourself and you're hearing noises that you're not used to hearing. So, all right, let's pull up conference standings. All right, in the American Conference, let's see, UTSA, they are in first place, are tied in first place, with UAB at 10-5. I guess this would be third place. East Carolina 9-6, followed by Wichita State, South Florida, Rice, Tulane, and Memphis are all tied with a 7-8 record. Florida Atlantic is 6-9, and then Charlotte is the caboose at 4-11. Let's see, Conference USA. All right. As I was saying earlier, Conference USA, Jacksonville State, 16-2, leading the conference. Missouri State is 14-4. Liberty 13-5. Dallas Baptist 12-6. That's your top 4 teams. Number 5 is Louisiana Tech at 11-7. Followed by Middle Tennessee at 8-10, and then you have 4 teams with 7-11 record. That is Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State, Sam Houston, and New Mexico State. Florida International follows in with a 5-13 record, and then the caboose of the Conference USA would be Delaware at 1-17. All right, Sun Belt. First place team would be Coastal Carolina 15-3, followed by Southern Miss at 11-7. You have 3 teams tied in third at 10-8. That would be South Alabama, Appalachian State, Troy. Sixth place, and you have 4 teams tied at 9-9 here. You got Texas State, Arkansas State, UL Monroe, and Marshall. You have 2 teams tied at 8-10. You have Old Dominion and Georgia State. University of Louisiana Lafayette is 7-11. James Madison at 6-12. Georgia Southern at 5-13. The ACC standings. Georgia Tech still in first place, but their lead has shrunk considerably. 1-game lead over North Carolina, so they are 16-5. North Carolina 15-6. Boston College here in third place, 14-7. Florida State is 12-6. Virginia 12-9. Miami 10-8. That's your top 5. Miami comes in at 10-8. Wake Forest 11-10. NC State 9-9. Virginia Tech 9-12. Let's see, 3 teams tied with a 7-11 record. That would be Pittsburgh, Louisville, Stanford, Duke at 8-13. Clemson and Cal are tied with a 6-12 record. And then finally, at 7-14 is Notre Dame. And then finally, the SEC. Georgia with a half-game lead over Texas A&M. Georgia with a 13-5 record. Texas A&M at 12-5. Let's see. Texas has an 11-6 record. They are 1.5 games behind Georgia. Mississippi State, they are 10-8. Also at 10-8 is Ole Miss, Auburn, Oklahoma, and Florida. Let's see. with the 9-9 records. Alabama, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Then you have Kentucky and Tennessee tied at 8-10. In 12th place, you have LSU. They are 6-12. So that right now, if the season ended right now, LSU would be in the conference tournament, but it's still iffy. South Carolina is at 5-13, and Missouri 3-15 to round out the bottom of the conference here. Let's take a quick look at upcoming games for this week for our teams here. We'll start Tuesday night in ACC. Let's see. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., Virginia Tech is headed to VCU. At 3 p.m., Maine is headed to number 22 Boston College. 6 p.m., number 8 Florida State is headed to Jacksonville to take on North Florida. 6 p.m., Duke is headed up to Virginia to take on Liberty. Also at 6 p.m., High Point is headed to number 2 North Carolina. Let's see, UNC Greensboro is headed to Wake Forest. 6:30 p.m. Pittsburgh is headed to number 12 West Virginia. That of course that's a rivalry game in football. I think they call it the backyard brawl. So that would be something similar here for baseball. Let's see, the Governor's Cup for Kentucky. Number 7 p.m. you have Kentucky and Louisville playing at Louisville. Also at 7 p.m. USC Upstate, which would be South Carolina Upstate, they are headed to Clemson. Number 3 Georgia Tech headed to number 5 Georgia. That's played in Georgia in Atlanta at Truist Park where the Braves play. So that's interesting there. And then at 9:05 p.m. This is the only West Coast game we have here. San Francisco is headed to Berkeley to take on California. Are there any Wednesday games this week? I doubt it. Oh, there is. There are. Let's see, Notre Dame is headed to Michigan State. Liberty at Virginia. Both of those are at 6 p.m. and at 6:30. Miami is headed to Florida Atlantic. One series starts on Thursday this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Making the 8-mile trip from Chapel Hill to Durham. Number 2 North Carolina is headed to play Duke. And starting Friday, let's see, number 10 Virginia is headed to Pittsburgh. NC State is headed to Virginia Tech. Clemson is headed to Louisville. Number 22 Boston College is headed to Notre Dame. Cal is headed across the country to Miami. Wake Forest is headed to number 3 Georgia Tech. And number 8 Florida State is headed the other way, and they're going to take on Stanford. See, we'll hop over to the American here. We'll start over in Tuesday night, see if we have any Tuesday games. We have plenty of them. Let's see, UTSA at 4 p.m. They're headed to number 7 Texas A&M. See, at 6 p.m. South Florida is headed to Stetson. Campbell is headed to Charlotte. East Carolina is headed to Old Dominion. UAB is headed to number 13 Alabama. Tulane is headed to number 18 Southern Miss. Wichita State is headed to Oklahoma State. Memphis is making the drive down to Starkville to take on number 15 Mississippi State. And let's see, these are at 7. So at 7 p.m. is UAB, Alabama, Tulane, Southern Miss, Wichita State, Oklahoma State. Memphis, Mississippi State, and then 7:30 p.m. is Houston at Rice. So that is in city matchup there. Wednesday, there's one game. I think we already covered. We already covered this Miami at Florida Atlantic. Let's see, are there any Thursday games here? There are no Thursday games, so all their series start on Friday. All right, first series up. South Florida is headed to East Carolina. Memphis is going to UAB. Charlotte is headed to Florida Atlantic. Rice is headed to Wichita State, and UTSA is headed to Tulane. They are flying. It's an hour flight from San Antonio to New Orleans, and I know this because I've done it. Let's see, Conference USA. Let's hop over to Tuesday. All right, so on Tuesday night, Conference USA, Kennesaw State is headed to West Georgia. Duke is headed to Liberty. Western Kentucky is headed to Eastern Kentucky, and these are at 6 p.m. At 6:30 p.m. we have Florida International headed to Florida Gulf Coast. At 7 p.m. we have Dallas Baptist headed to TCU, so they're not even leaving the area. Also at 7 p.m. Jacksonville State is headed to Troy. That's a rivalry series there. Let's see. Louisiana Tech is headed up the road to take on McNeese. That's over in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Let's see. This is 7 p.m. Middle Tennessee is headed to Tennessee Tech. Baylor is headed to Sam Houston, and Missouri State is headed to number 24, Arkansas. So Wednesday night, or I guess some of this is Wednesday afternoon. Delaware at 3 p.m. They are headed to St. Joseph's. That's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At 6 p.m. you have Liberty headed to number 10, Virginia. 7 p.m. Austin Peay is headed to Western Kentucky. And 9:35 p.m. It won't be that late out there, but New Mexico State is headed to number 25, Arizona State. And all their games start on Friday. Let's see. Dallas Baptist is headed to Miami to take on Florida International. Delaware is headed to Liberty. Kennesaw State headed to Western Kentucky. Missouri State going to Louisiana Tech. New Mexico State is headed to Jacksonville State. And Middle Tennessee is headed to Sam Houston. In the SEC, we're going to start with Tuesday here, like we always do. Lipscomb is headed to Tennessee. Presbyterian is headed to South Carolina. Jacksonville is headed to number 21, Florida. Xavier is headed to Vanderbilt. Auburn is headed to Samford, which is in Hoover. Of course, Hoover is where the conference tournament is played. SIU Edwardsville, that's Southern Illinois University. Edwardsville is headed to Missouri. Murray State is headed to number 17, Ole Miss. Or Roberts is headed to number 14, Oklahoma. University of New Orleans is headed to Baton Rouge to take on LSU. And then Air Force is headed to number 4, Texas. Let's see, are there any Wednesday games? There are not. Let's see. I don't know why it keeps doing this. SEC. Thursday, there are two series starting on Thursday. You have number 13, Alabama, headed to Knoxville to take on Tennessee, and number 24, Arkansas, headed to Missouri. Friday, you have, let's see, number 7, Texas A&M is headed to number 21 Florida. LSU is headed to number 15, Mississippi State. Oklahoma is headed, number 14, Oklahoma headed to number 11, Auburn. Number 4, Texas is headed to Vanderbilt. Let's see, Kentucky is headed to South Carolina. Number 5, Georgia is headed to number 17, Ole Miss. And then our final conference to cover here. The Sun Belt. Let's see, we got on Tuesday at 3 p.m. we have James Madison headed to George Mason. Then at 6 p.m. we have number 9 Coastal Carolina headed to UNC Wilmington. East Carolina headed to Old Dominion. East Tennessee State headed to Appalachian State. Incarnate Word is headed to Texas State. UL Monroe, Northwestern State. Grambling is headed to Lafayette to take on ULL. Central Arkansas is headed to Arkansas State. On Wednesday, we have at 11 a.m. Morehead State headed to Marshall. 6 p.m. you have the Citadel headed to Georgia Southern. At 7:30 you have Lamar headed to South Alabama. No Thursday starts for the series. So on Friday we have Georgia Southern. They are headed to Appalachian State. Texas State headed to number 9 Coastal Carolina. Old Dominion headed to Georgia State. Troy headed to Marshall. Louisiana Lafayette headed to Arkansas State. James Madison headed to UL Monroe. And Southern Miss headed to South Alabama. And to wrap up, we will look at the top 25 as it stands as of this morning. Number 1, UCLA. Number 2, North Carolina. Number 3, Georgia Tech. Number 4, Texas. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, Oregon State. Number 7, Texas A&M. Number 9, Coastal Carolina. Number 10, Virginia. Number 11, Auburn. Number 12, West Virginia. Number 13, Alabama. 14, Oklahoma. 15, Mississippi State. 16, Kansas. 17, Ole Miss. 18, Southern Miss. 19, Oregon. 20, Nebraska. 21, Florida. 22, Boston College. 23, Southern California. 24, Arkansas. And 25, Arizona State. I think Southern California got swept this past weekend. Yeah. In fact, they've lost 4 games in a row. They lost to Long Beach State on Tuesday and then had a series sweep against Nebraska. I don't need Siri talking to me. That scared me. I'm not gonna lie. Sitting here by myself, and all of a sudden I hear something talking to me. That made my heart race a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So, what were they last week? They only dropped to. I am curious now as to top 25 from last week. I can't get it pulled up. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But four games in a row. That's not a good look for Southern Cal. They have to get that turned around pretty quick. But anyway, that's it for this week in college baseball. That's the review from last week and preview for this week. Like you said, college baseball is a great sport. If you can get out there and get to a game, do it. It's a lot of fun. You get your vitamin C being out in the sunlight, and it's a lot of fun just to go sit in the ballpark, take in the environment, get wrapped up in something for a couple hours, and just let loose and have some fun. Support your local team. Support college baseball. It needs it. We need it to grow. So until next time, guys, and hopefully Matt and I will be back. I think Saturday morning for a South Bend episode where we will be talking the first couple rounds, the first couple days of the draft. Kind of giving our overview on the draft to that point. We'll maybe do some guesses on what's going to happen the rest of the way. With that being said, guys, we will see you next time.